Travel and Things in association with Sun Destinations, iconic destinations with amazing experiences, presents In Conversation With. I am your host, David Batsoffen, and today I'm joined by, I don't know how to describe this young lady, but the book is called The Memoirs of a Clumsy Potato. The lady concerned is Sami Hall, and she joins me right now. Sami, how are you?
I'm doing good, David. Thanks. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. I was enamored with this book from start to finish. I took it away with me on a holiday. It was a long weekend, and I made sure that I didn't finish it on day one. And I actually made it last until the very last morning that I was away. It's a beautifully scripted book. It's easy to read, and you laugh and cry with Sami almost at the same time. So take us back to, I suppose, let's start by saying, who is Sami Hall? And all of a sudden, from Zoom to author to I don't know, to what I'd like to call an influencer.
Influenza. It sounds like the illness that I currently have.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, David. It's always a difficult question. Who is Sami? I don't know. I'm just someone who likes talking a lot of nonsense. I'm passionate about a lot of things. Actually, quite serious, but I like to bring up my points across in a humorous way. I feel people
Right.
listen better in those cases. Um, but I've always wanted to write a book. It's been a lifelong dream. Never
Mm.
really thought it would happen, but here we are. So thank you for the kind words on the book. I really appreciate it. Yeah, exciting.
And we must say it's published by Tracy McDonald Publishers. We can't
Yes.
forget Tracy, because without her,
Yes.
there are a lot of authors that would never see the light of day.
Yes, no, I'm so thankful for her and for the whole team because
Mm.
without them it wouldn't be possible. So yes, it's been an exciting journey.
Sami, for somebody who's so visible in social media and that type of thing, you obviously get good, bad, and indifferent feedback constantly.
All
What
the
is it
time.
like to deal with? You know, do you believe the good? Do you believe the bad? Or do you just pick a middle path and go, I can't make everybody love me?
Yes, it depends on the day. Sometimes when I'm having a bad day, I read a bad comment. It does get to me.
Mm.
But I think the best way to go about it is not to put too much stock on anyone's comment because people who love you, people who don't love you, none of them really know you. So in the same way, you shouldn't let negative comment get to you. You shouldn't let positive comment give you a groot kop and make you think, uh, I'm the best because one thing about social media, it's fickle. Like everyone can love you today and hate you tomorrow if you
Yeah,
say the wrong thing or you get cancelled or someone doesn't like what you said. So you must just try to stay true to yourself.
yeah.
The day when the people that love you start telling you you're becoming a cock up, then you must believe it. But I just want to make people laugh, you know. Life is so serious and but I don't want to put too much of my self-worth
Mm.
on what strangers on the internet thinks. And
Okay.
that's definitely,
Because you put yourself out there in this book. You really and truly do. If people thought they knew you before reading this, just by seeing your videos, they're going to
yeah,
be stunned and amazed, because every time Sami is on the top of a wave, something, a wave bigger comes to knock her off that pinnacle. And it's an up
yeah,
and down, up and down. I mean, this reads like, with all due respect to you and your family, both present and past, this reads like a TV soap opera. And people would not believe this, specifically with
agree.
your parents.
Tragedy.
I don't know so much about a tragedy, because you make more than that out of it. But some people could have gotten to a point where the depression, where the divorces and all of that type of thing just get on top of you, and you want to, crawl into bed and pull a duvet over your head days.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the thing is anybody you don't know anybody's story.
Mm.
Some of the people closest to you, you don't even know their story. But I think everyone has one. Everyone has things that happens and ups and downs. And my whole point of this book was to show people like it's gonna happen. It doesn't
Mm.
matter where in your life, any small thing can happen and it can knock you down. But at the end of the day, we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You have to get up and try again.
I saw,
That's
I saw a statistic yesterday that said 44% of marriages end in divorce, which
yeah.
leaves the fact that 50%, 56% of marriages end in death. So either way, it's not a great outcome. You're either going to die or get divorced, one of the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. Hence the reason I'm not married.
I'm sure you have many people knocking at your door for right and wrong reasons, I should imagine.
No, well, they don't know where I live, so not really.
Yeah. And for those who don't know where Sami lives, you can find her at 196 for Woodrow. And
Yeah.
her phone number is no. Sami, tell us, how long ago did you start this journey? The journey of the book. We'll get onto the social media in a moment.
Well, when I met with Tracy, we had a discussion. She said, "You want to do this?" I said, "Yes, I do." And I had a 3 month deadline. So it all happened in 3 months, like start to finish, 3 months, and that's it. So I joked when the book came out that I don't even know what's written in it because I didn't really have time to go through it again. But yeah, it was a quick journey.
Mm.
The stuff was in my head already, at least.
So you just needed to put it on the page or on the computer, so to speak. So were you
Yes, yes.
did you wake up every morning and say, look, I have to do 4 hours today, or I have to produce, I don't know how many words in this particular book, 80 to 100,000 maybe. I have to produce 10,000 words before I can get on with my day. Or how did your writing process
I
work
think
for
that
you?
was the plan. I had a plan. I'm going to. But then life happens. I had a bunch of other things going on. So there was weeks where I write nothing, and then I would become crazy, like, what am I going to do? This is never going to be finished. And then I would write a couple of pages or paragraphs in one sitting. There was no method to it. I try to be organized, but it's not my strong suit. So
hence,
I just I had to wing it.
hence the clumsy potato.
Exactly.
who who coined that phrase?
So it's a funny story. Sorry, my phone keeps ringing. Um, there was a friend of mine, we worked together at Jacaranda FM back in the day, and she posted something on Facebook about how to give a sound engineer a panic attack, where someone messed ice cream on sound equipment. And I commented about the time when I messed coffee on the sound equipment in at Jacaranda, and we had dead air
Oh,
for like 5 minutes, which is a big deal in
it's a
radio.
huge deal.
So I commented it, and she said she would have ran away. I said, no, it's fair, but I'm thinking of writing a book, The Memoirs of a Clumsy Potato. So it was just like a joke.
Yeah.
And then when I spoke to Tracy, I was like, that's the book name. And it came from a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, but spilling liquid on a desk is not the way to go.
Nope.
No,
I wouldn't
your
recommend it.
station manager must have had serious words with you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Back then I worked for Darren Scott.
yeah.
And the other day, he moved to America now, and we were chatting on Facebook, and I told him I write about this in the book, and he couldn't remember it. And I'm like, oh, well, so for you, it wasn't a big deal. He couldn't remember it. I
Are
remember it vividly. Mm-hmm.
those sort of things you normally do, and it's
Yeah,
just as the coffee starts to tip out over the desk, you sort of go, "O gats, hier kom kak."
yeah, yeah. No, it was embarrassing, to say
Say
the
that,
least.
yeah. Sami, are there chapters in the book now that you've had the opportunity? You say it was a very quick write, so you didn't have the time to rewrite and maybe re-edit. Are there parts of this book that you're not so happy with? Are there parts that you'd wish you'd left out? And the flip side of that question is, are there parts that you thought you would put in and
Hmm.
didn't?
So I'm actually glad that I didn't have time to edit it or to reread it and
Mm.
to question myself, because then probably I would have taken some stuff out because I was very vulnerable in the book. And I kept thinking, what are people going to think? Is someone going to be angry with me for what I wrote or what, So I'm glad I didn't have time to go back, because that's the story of me and I want it to be open and authentic. After it was published and everything, stories that pop up, other funny stories. My friends would remind me of stories, and they started to joke about we need to put it in the second book. So a few funny stories popped up that I didn't put in the book,
Mm.
but honestly, I'm really happy with how it came out, because it was therapeutic for me, and I didn't expect that. I just thought, I'm going to write a book. But after I wrote the final okay bye, I was like, wow, it's been an interesting 31 years. So
Mm.
now I don't regret anything I put in, and it's this story of me from my perspective, at
Yeah,
least, because from other people's perspectives it might look different, but
exactly. But this isn't
this
their
is,
book. You didn't ask
yeah,
them for their input.
yeah, but people pleaser.
Yeah, I know. But you've learned to say no, hopefully now.
Well, I'm getting better,
Good.
but no one's going to buy a book where I just say everything's great.
Yeah,
Everything is
true.
awesome. No one's
True
going to
enough.
want to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as a matter of interest, is the book, we said it's published by Tracy McDonald Publishers, is it available in bookstores already? I mean, I have a hard copy, and that's only because it comes from just up the road for me. Tracy got it
Okay.
to me within minutes of me saying
Oh,
I want to
that's great.
interview Sami, which was
That
great.
is,
But is it
yes, it's
available
most,
in bookstores?
yeah, most good bookstores. It's available online. It's available on Amazon. Unfortunately for the overseas friends, it's only on the Kindle version,
Mm.
but it is available on Amazon. It's available on my website. It's available at Millipap Plaaswinkel, which is our
We're going to talk about
restaurant.
Millipap in a moment. Um, but
It's all over the show.
yeah, so basically there's nowhere that you can't buy the book. There's no excuse for not having this on your shelf at home.
Yeah,
But
I like to say it's available at all good bookshops, because if someone doesn't have it, then they're gonna have to get it. Otherwise, I
exactly,
said they're not a good bookshop.
exactly. But now I want to ask you, since it's been published, you're a very visible person. I mean, people know you from Facebook. They know who Sami Hall is. And I ask this question of all my authors, and some answer it truthfully, and others sort of skirt around the answer. The question is, if this book is on a shelf in exclusive books, but it's that way up on the bookshelf, will you move it so that it looks like that? Or
Yes.
do you stand? Good answer. Or will you stand with the book in your hand because your face is on the cover, and go, oh, look, Sami Hall's done a book. I wonder what it's like, specifically if there are people standing near you, and then
Yeah.
see if they respond to you looking at yourself on the cover of your book.
Yes, I find it every time I pass one of my books, even if in our own shop or whatever, if I see it, it it's still unreal to me. So I'm still very excited and proud about it. So if I walk into a random bookshop and I will probably take a selfie with myself. I would start promoting it to the to everyone in the bookshop. Like, did you read this? It's bloody brilliant. Yeah. No, I'm
after
not used to it.
after yesterday's fog here in Joburg, I saw it's fogging into lacquer out there, but be careful on the roads. I don't know where that came from, and it lasted a long time. It only burnt off in Joburg at like 10 o'clock or half past
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, I've never experienced it like that. I've been in Kempton now for about 5, 6 years.
Mm,
I've never experienced fog like that. Yeah.
yeah.
So
It's
I
like,
had to concentrate to get to work because you can see nothing. And then the reason I made that video, because there was a car coming and it didn't have its lights on, and I
mm,
honestly didn't see it until it was on top of me.
wow. It's like driving in the Natal Midlands. They drive like that
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. No, it
So
was scary.
now you alluded to the Millipap restaurant and you wrote about it in the book. And I thought, all right, so this was a little pop-up restaurant that your brother ran, gave him something to do, and it will have come and gone. But no, because I looked it up on the net. And there it is, large as life, with a huge menu. I was hoping to actually get to visit the restaurant before we had this chat without you knowing I was going to be there. And I was unable to for a variety of different reasons. But come, I am going to because the menu looks fantastic.
Yes, now I have to say, I am biased, of course, but the food is amazing. I don't know where my brother, well, he gets it from my gran.
Mm.
He and my gran used to cook together all the time. Well, both my grans. So, no, it's for burn microwave popcorn. So I don't know. There's a disconnect there, but his food is amazing. And the whole thing with Millipap, it's one of those things that I said earlier where you don't have a choice but to
Mm.
keep going. We started this just before lockdown, before COVID hit, but there's something special in having nothing to lose because what are you
You
going to
had
do?
nothing to lose.
You have nothing to lose. And I find the more you get and the bigger you become, the more successful you become, the more stressed out you are because you have more to lose. But yeah, Millipap is just, it's a part of us. It's where our journey started.
So let me ask you the question. If Sammy had a superpower, what would your superpower be?
If I can choose a superpower.
Yep.
I've thought about this before because that's how my brain works, but I've always wished that I could pause everything, like
Okay.
pause the whole world. Everyone is paused,
Mm.
and then I would just take a 3 day nap. But but nothing. I wouldn't miss out on any work or um, nothing will happen.
That's
Everyone
probably
is.
the that's probably the best superpower I've heard. And I've asked this question many times. So
I,
so
I
you so you know there's like Batman and Superman and all of those sort of things. So what if that is your superpower, what would your super name be? Would it be like Nap Girl or something like that?
a lazy potato.
Couch potato.
Yeah, something like that. I just think this we all have FOMO
Yeah.
and you don't want to miss out on anything and you have work to do and now with cell phones and there's no standard hours, like you're always
Mm.
busy with something. And if you go and take a nap in the middle of the day, someone's going to notice that you are not busy doing something because you have lots of things to do. So I think it would be amazing if everything can just stop
Mm.
and I can just, take a few days and no one would no one would even know. I would just unpause and it would be the same second as 3 days ago.
It's like doing Zoom calls where one of the participants freezes, and
Oh
then
yes.
you have to continue. Specifically, if it's a recorded, like they're still there, hoping that they're eventually going to come back. And
Yeah.
sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. But now,
Techno-
another question, and you've answered most of the questions about yourself in the book. Is there something about Sami that we still don't know, that you've held back for whatever reason, and that at a particular point you're going to say, this is something else you didn't know, or this is something I now feel comfortable to share with my viewers and my readers?
Not off the top of my head, like obviously I couldn't put everything in the book, so there's probably lots of things people don't know about me, but I try to be an open book, so to speak, because I feel like a lot of people compare themselves to people they see on the internet, whether it's an influencer or a singer or a comedian. You tend to compare yourself to a fake life.
Mm.
And I've done that a lot where I see this person with this beautiful clothes and look how beautiful she is and look at skin and what. And that's something that I don't want to put out there. I'm a person who's sometimes lazy, sometimes tired, sometimes angry. Sometimes I go on long, passionate rants. That's who I am. And I want people to relate to me. So I don't want anything to be unsaid. So I'm quite open. But I feel like something a lot of people are confused by when they meet me is that I'm actually shy, you know. I'm not always very comfortable in social situations. I'm very to my favorite thing is to be on my own, like just me.
Yeah.
And I'm actually a very serious person. I take life very seriously, and I'm now trying to avoid reading the news because it upsets me, and then I get angry. So if what you see isn't always what you get, but in a big way, I try to be just how I would be with my friends and my family.
Now, you mentioned one specific friend in the book. Did you discuss this her participation in the book before you wrote it, or did you just think I'm going to write it, and if she likes it, she likes it, and if she doesn't, she doesn't?
Well, I did ask her if it's fine if I use her name, and she said
Mm,
it's fine, but I didn't really go into detail about what I was going to write.
right.
Um, so yeah, no, when the book was published, she and her mom got a copy, and then she read it the first night when she got it.
Mm.
And she said she had to read it quickly so that she can see if there's something in there that her mom doesn't know about. So, so that she can tell her before she reads it.
And was there?
Well, apparently there was a thing or two. We all had
Ah,
a laugh about it, but not really much.
okay. And the rest of your family, how did they feel about the way you not portrayed, because portrayed is the wrong word, the way you wrote about them? Because you are very respectful about them, but you're brutally honest in certain instances about your
Yeah.
family and about the interactions with them and the various spouses that they had.
Yeah.
This is Tuesday is there's a different family member that's popped up almost.
Yeah, I think the feedback I've got so far was mostly positive. There's maybe a person who's not happy, but not someone that, you know, it's not going to deter me. But um, yeah, I haven't really, no one's really been upset
Mm.
because everyone has their story and their
Yeah,
lives.
true.
And yeah, no, I don't think there was any big fallout.
Okay. Do you
Yeah.
see yourself as an inspiration to other women who find themselves in a similar situation, pardon me, to you, and what you have been through in your very short 31 years?
Yeah. Well, I try to be. I won't say that I am because there's a lot of things that I also didn't handle well or whatever the case may be. But I try, especially for women and young girls, I try to be an inspiration to them in the sense of, and I'm not, I think I talk about this in the book as well. I'm not like into toxic feminism
Mm.
nonsense stuff. But I do know that there are certain issues that women deal with that has become second nature. One of which is that you are taught from a young age to be quiet and be respectful and yeah, stay quiet, be on your place, don't be too loud, that type of thing. And that is something that I don't agree with at all. Like, use your voice,
Yeah.
say no if you're uncomfortable. Don't always want to please everyone because then you're just going to hurt yourself.
Mm.
And with the whole industry of how women is supposed to look, like you always have to look beautiful, always have to wear makeup. I've started doing my TikToks in my paint stained gown, which I still have, because it's comfy.
Mm.
And if I look like that in this moment, that's how I'm going to take the video. I'm
Yeah.
not going to go and make up for. So that's the type of thing that I want to inspire women by. Just be yourself. You don't always have to put on like a facade for
Yeah.
the public.
Just
Look how
be authentic, basically, at
yeah.
the end of the day.
Yes,
Um,
because otherwise you just have unreasonable expectations. And then
both
when
of
you don't,
yourself, yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't come right, then you feel bad because how is she doing it? But the truth
Mm,
is, she's not doing it. She's just
yeah.
showing you that part.
Not everybody can be 6'3" and a supermodel on a ramp that only weighs 4 kilos and can walk at a 30-degree angle.
And probably they can't eat pop. So, I mean,
You got to wait. There's just something to be said about pup and potatoes for that matter.
exactly.
Sami, we're coming to the end of our chat, and thank you very much for taking time out from a very busy schedule. So, what's next for Sami Hall? What are we going to see? More TikToks, more millipups opening around the country? The world is your oyster or your millipup. I'm not sure which.
Yes, so we opened our second branch of Millipap in Bronkhorstspruit recently. So now we just have to get that up and running before thinking of more branches. But the truth is, I have so many things in my head. I have so many plans, and I'm trying to dial it back a bit and concentrate on one thing. But I can't, I can't really say what's next because I don't know yet. A lot of um, what I've done so far has kind of been just going with it. Just
Mm.
if opportunity comes, I take it. It's not, there's a lot of planning, but I don't plan everything that happens. I just go with what feels right today.
Wonderful. The book is called The Memoirs of a Clumsy Potato. It's published by Tracy McDonald Publishers. It is available everywhere. And if you can't find it, look Sami up on Facebook, and she will direct you to the nearest copy. Sami, thank you so much for joining me here on In Conversation With. It's been an absolute pleasure. And seeing you've trademarked two very specific words, I'm going to allow you to use them, as we say, cheerio.
Okay, bye.
Sami Hall's been my guest here on In Conversation With today.